What if I tell you that a trending song called Rasputin is actually describing about a real person? Yes, it is. Rasputin was born in 1869 in a small Siberian village called Pokrovskoye in Russia. It was a quiet, rural place where most people lived simple farming lives, and his family was no different. His father worked locally, and they weren't wealthy or powerful in any way. As a child, Rasputin didn't receive much formal education, and is often described as struggling with reading and writing in his early years. But people around him noticed that he wasn't entirely ordinary. He had an intense personality and a kind of unusual presence. Some later accounts even suggest he showed early signs of spiritual curiosity. At the time, though, he was just another village boy, and nothing about his birth or upbringing suggested that he would one day become one of the most talked about and controversial figures in Russian history. Rasputin didn't become famous suddenly. It happened step by step. As a young adult, he left his village and traveled across Russia as a religious wanderer. During these journeys, he built a reputation as a man with spiritual insight and healing abilities. People started seeing him as a mystic, someone who could pray and bring comfort to the sick. His life changed when he reached St. Petersburg, the capital of Russia at that time. There, he met important church figures and nobles who were impressed by his personality and the way he spoke about faith. Through these connections, Rasputin was eventually introduced to the Russian royal family. The royal couple, Tsar Nicholas II and Empress Alexandra, were going through a serious problem. Their son, Alexei, had hemophilia, a condition where his blood wouldn't clot properly. This meant even a small injury could become dangerous. Doctors couldn't fully help him, and the family was desperate. Rasputin seemed to calm the boy's condition during one of his worst episodes. Whether it was his prayers, his presence, or something else, the child's suffering appeared to reduce. This deeply convinced the Empress that Rasputin had special powers. From that point on, she trusted him completely. Because of this trust, Rasputin gained close access to the royal family and started influencing decisions. While the royals saw him as a helper, many others, especially nobles, believed he was manipulating the family and becoming too powerful. This is how Rasputin went from an unknown villager to one of the most talked about figures in the Russian Empire. Many people in Russia turned against Rasputin because of how much power he seemed to have without any official position. He was just a wandering mystic, yet he had direct access to the royal family, especially the Empress. This made nobles and politicians uncomfortable because they felt important decisions were being influenced by someone they didn't trust. Another reason was his reputation. Rasputin lived in a way that didn't match the image of a holy man. There were rumors about his behavior, including drinking and inappropriate conduct. Whether all of it was true or exaggerated, it damaged his image and made people see him as corrupt. His influence grew even more during World War I, when the Tsar was away leading the army, and the Empress relied heavily on Rasputin's advice. Many believed he was indirectly affecting government decisions, which made the situation worse during an already difficult time for Russia. To a lot of people, Rasputin became a symbol of everything going wrong: weak leadership, poor decisions, and the decline of the monarchy. That's why powerful nobles eventually decided that removing him was necessary. By late 1916, Rasputin had become one of the most hated figures among Russia's nobles. They believed his close influence over the Empress was damaging the government, especially during World War I, when the country was already struggling. To them, removing Rasputin wasn't just personal, it felt necessary to protect the monarchy. A group of aristocrats planned his murder, led by Prince Felix Yusupov, along with Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich and a few others. They invited Rasputin to Yusupov's palace in St. Petersburg, using the excuse of a private meeting late at night. At first, everything seemed normal, but the situation quickly turned. The conspirators attempted to kill him inside the palace. The exact details are still debated, because many of the people involved later gave different versions of the story. What is generally accepted is that Rasputin was attacked multiple times before finally dying. Afterward, his body was taken and disposed of to hide the crime, but it was later discovered by authorities. News of his death spread quickly across Russia. In the end, the nobles believed killing Rasputin would help restore trust in the royal family, but it didn't work. Instead, it showed how unstable the situation had become, and within a few months, the Russian monarchy itself collapsed during the revolution.